Good morning. I hope you had a nice week off and get some well deserved rest. So, we are headed into way down here, week 8. We're coming back from fall break, and I've moved everything so that we could actually have last week off. So, you can kind of see this. I don't know if you've looked at this updated version of our course agenda, but I thought it might be helpful to review it as we're about to wrap up the last 8 weeks of class, which is hard to believe. So I want to just go through it and make sure it's really clear what we're doing, why we're doing it, and where we're headed. I have changed the due date of the analysis of play submission 2, which is focused on schemas of play. So be sure you review those from back in, where did we do schemas of play? They were way back here early on in week 4, so you can review those. And I'll pop a little reminder sheet in the in week 8 for you too, to kind of refresh your memory. So basically, you should be making your, if you haven't already, make your appointment at the preschool or center, wherever you're observing, for your analysis of play assignment, because the paper will be due on October 14th, which is a week away from when we begin this week 8. So you want to make sure you get your time in. You're just observing for 1 hour this time, so hopefully that's a little easier. So the week of October 7th, we're going to be looking at a lot at, I'm going to actually take this out. We're going to look at risk taking in play and how we make the case for play, especially what's called self-determined risk-taking on the part of children. So this may be something that's new to you. I know some of you have had a lot of experience with it, so it won't be new to you. It'll be just a refresher. So enjoy that, because I know there's some of you who've had a lot of experience with outdoor and risk-taking play with young children. There's a beginning of life video about the importance of nature, the natural world, in the lives of children. So please, when you listen to that video, focus on what the sensory input is from the natural world that's so crucial to young children, and what they miss when they don't have a lot of time in the outdoors. So in addition to looking at risk-taking in the outdoor play, we also want to look at the outdoors and how the outdoor classroom should be as well attended to as the indoor. A lot of times teachers just take kids outside and that's it. They're outside and they play, which is wonderful, of course. But we need to pay more attention to things like gardening, being able to be in more wild spaces, how that can happen for children, and just in general, have more regard for what we're doing with children in the outdoors. And something that's really important in this Kaleidoscope article from Exchange Press is it's a really important piece about beginner's mind and some other more Eastern ways of thinking about how we experience life, basically. So I'd like you to really dive into those, because they do represent much of what young children are experiencing, especially in the outdoors. So that's for this week. Really preparing you to get ready for your forest school observation, which will be, you should plan for once you get done with analysis of play. You can see that will be due on November 3rd. So you have the month of October for these two pieces. We're going to dive into some more aspects of play in over the coming weeks, and you should be ready in your forest school observation from our studies in the coming weeks to really look at that. Then we're going to head into November, and you'll see your third analysis of play submission is due. This is going to be on the role of the teacher, which we've really talked about all semester in various ways. So you'll really want to review all of those conversations about the role of the teacher, so many of them, over the whole semester, really. And that will be the focus of your last analysis of play assignment, which you can see is due November 10th. And at that point, you should also be planning for your activity that you're going to do. You can do it where you work if you're more comfortable doing it there, or you can do it in the space where you've been observing. That's also fine if they're okay with it. You'll need to make arrangements. It's a very simple little 30-minute activity. And you'll see the, I probably somewhere around the middle of October, toward the end of October, we'll make a video to talk you through how you're going to do that. This is a very loose activity plan, not a lesson plan. So be thinking about play. What can you introduce into an outdoor setting or an indoor classroom that would promote play in your classroom? You could think about the schemas of play. Maybe you'll do something with one of those. Not a lesson, an activity that children can do independently as play. So that will be the last thing you submit. You'll submit the plan, your reflections, and I will have a process called creating a documentation board that you'll use, which is basically photographing what the children do, making a note about things they say, and submitting a doc board as your reflection rather than just writing out what happened. You'll also submit this documentation board. So not to worry about any of that right now. I will be giving you instructions on how to do that. If you are in a center that uses documentation boards, or some people call it Reggio Emilia documentation, lots of different names for it, you might want to go ahead and check those out while you're there so that you can see what I'm talking about in terms of how you would use photographs, quotes, documentation of children's experiences while they're playing. And the play activity is what you have set up for them. So you might want to take a look at that while you're in Spaces Now. But not to worry, I'll be giving you lots of instruction on that. I don't want to overwhelm you right now with a lot of details. I just want you to have a sort of a view of where we're headed. So I hope this is helpful for now. For week 8, you are going to be looking at, again, we're going to be looking at risk-taking in play. Let's go down here to week 8, and I'll just open it up and show it to you for now. You can see the objectives are all to do with the culture that we live in, being risk avoidant for children, how to understand risk-taking in play as a need children have. They need to develop the ability to assess risk and then experience it, and then adjust their own view of what they're doing. And we need to understand the role of the teacher. There's some things in Journal 7 that will allow you to look at other ways of communicating about risk-taking with children. You'll look at the outdoor environment as another classroom that requires equal planning, intention, and consideration. So I really want you to pay close attention to that in the powerful role of play reading this week. And understanding the need for self-examination and how you feel about risk-taking. This is a tough thing for a lot of teachers. And next week we'll go into it a little more deeply as to how you can assess your own view and how you can balance the need for supervision with the child's need to experience risk-taking in play. And so you'll see, basically, you'll be using this one Exchange Press article and chapter 4 from Powerful Role of Play, and then a beginning of life video. So I hope that makes sense. And again, next week is when analysis of play submission 2 will be due. So I will add the description of that to this week so you can look at it.